The Larks are fresh off of their fourth run roll win of the season against the Newton Rebels, and tonight they are back home for a 3-game series in RMBL play against the Gameday Angels. Welcome into the pregame show, everyone. My name is Hank Corsair, joined alongside by Eli Blankenship, and the Larks got a huge 14-1 win down in Newton on Sunday night. As we take a look back at that game, it was what we've seen from a few of the games for the Larks this year. The Rebels jumped out to that 1-0 lead, but once the Larks start getting things going, it is very hard to stop them. They took a 4-1 lead in the 6th inning. Next thing you know, in the 7th, they score 5 runs. And then in the 8th inning, that was when they got the run rule going 3 up, 3 down against the Rebels. With a lot of key performances in that game, Dylan LaRue hit a solo home run and accounted for 4 of the Larks' runs. Tabor Stokes had 3 of his own. And the pitching stepped up in a big way, with Ty Schmeidler pitching the first 4 innings in his second start as a Lark. And then Justin Pignardo and Hunter Cogill both got some key performances of their own. And Eli, usually as we progress into the later parts of the season, that's where you start to see a team's identity. But for the Larks, we're already starting to see it, and that's that they might not start hot out of the gate, but if you give them a chance to take the lead, they're going to take it, and they're not going to slow down.
Oh, 100%. And I think that with this squad, we've seen it. They may start out a pretty just kind of even-keeled team. They may let up a few runs here and there at the beginning of the contest, and then it seems like a lot of their runs just come in a landslide. They all come all at once, and it's really fun to watch because it kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat until about the 5th or the 6th inning, and then all of a sudden all the runs just start coming all at once. And, man, it's fun to watch this team rally.
And they've put this strong start together without a 100% lineup, and that's going to change tonight, though. Hutch Russell, the KU commit from Seminole State Community College, has arrived. Another arm that the Larks added when they were in Colorado, that is Sammy Fredrich, number 27. He's arrived. And I believe Hank Brown has either arrived or will arrive soon. And the Larks are also looking at adding one more potential arm, a player from Panola College. And That player is a right-handed pitcher originally from the Netherlands, so we're going to see a complete team here tonight, and it's going to be fun to see what they can do.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And I think that this is usually kind of how the first bit of the season goes, where you have that kind of forming period. I think last season it was even longer than it has been this season, where you continue to add guys throughout the season. I mean, we were even seeing new additions almost halfway through the season. Now this roster is almost 100%, and we're barely into this season. And so I'm really excited to see how this team can really find its identity now that they've come to 100% strength, almost 100% strength, of course, and how that can translate into the later parts of this season.
And tonight the Larks are facing a Gameday Angels team that comes in at 3-3, trying to get back-to-back wins for the first time this season. Their last game was 5 days ago, where they beat USA Prime 13-3, and they've gotten 3 games so far this season where they've scored 10 or more runs, and also they've given up 10-plus runs twice. Those 2 games were combined for 35 runs allowed. So this team has a very strong offense, but they need to be careful against this Larks team to make sure that they don't give up enough runs.
Yeah, and I think for the Larks, the key for them is going to be holding the Gameday Angels at bay until they can start scoring some runs. And then it's not as big of a deal once this Larks team gets out in front, because we've seen it. They can really just swing the momentum just like on a flip of a dime, which is just unreal to me how quickly this Larks team can flip their momentum. I'll be interested to see what the Gameday Angels can bring to the table, especially with how much rest they've had. A 5-day rest period can really play to a team's benefit.
A win tonight would give the Larks their 18th straight win at Larks Park and give them their first 8-0 start since 2014. And first pitch is up next here on the Larks Network. It is about time for first pitch as the Larks get set to take on the Gameday Angels, looking to improve to an 8-0 record, and the Angels are looking for their second win in a row. The Larks are turning to number 25, Simon Lunsford, to get a hot start on the mound. He is the strikeouts leader with 12 to start the year, and he'll be looking for a repeat of his last start here at Larks Park. It was 4 days ago against the Colorado Lumberjacks where he got 8 strikeouts and threw a no-hitter, but this first one will be called, or will be resulted in a hit by a pitch.
Obviously not what he was looking for there on the start, but he's just got to brush that one off, forget about the runner over at first, and focus on that next batter.
And that time the batter was showing bunt. That was number 9, Matthew Shipley, that led things off. He kind of walked up in the zone when he was showing bunt, and that's how he was able to get hit. But either way, he's over at first base. And first pitch tonight is at 7:05 p.m. 86 degrees at first pitch with 11-mile-per-hour winds out of the southeast. And unlike last time out where it was windy and a little bit cooler, it is very humid today here in Hayes. And I think they're actually going to send Shipley back to home plate, and they're going to call that a strike because he ran up in the box.
It's interesting. I haven't seen it happen that way before, but I suppose Simon Lunsford isn't complaining up there on the hill, as he'll get another chance at Matthew Shipley.
So Shipley faces an 0-1 count. He's a sophomore from UC Colorado Springs. And now it's an even count at 1-1. Here's the Game Day Angels lineup after Matthew Shipley. It's number 5, Dylan Volts. Batting in the third spot is the DH, number 6, David Brab. Count moves now to 1-2 as Lunsford finds the low part of the zone. In the cleanup spot tonight is number 15, Tyler Genrich. Batting 5th is number 20, William Harbison. The right fielder, Cliff Goldie, will bat 6th. And the final 3 batters are Peyton Mitchlig. On the foul ball, the count stays at 1-2. Tyler Tiedemann is 8th, and batting 9th is Kyle Hubert. We'll get a look at the Larks' defensive alignment after this pitch. Shipley was hit to start, and then they called him back to home plate with an 0-1 count. He now faces 2 balls and 2 strikes, as that one's left in the turf. This one's put in play over to the second baseman. It's fielded by Green, and he will toss it over to Tanner Norman for out number 1. A routine play for out number 1 there for the Larks. And that brings up number 5, Dylan Volts. Lunsford's first pitch to him is going to be low and outside for ball 1. The Larks' defensive alignment tonight looks like this. Braden Hebner's back in left field. Flowers returns to center field. And Sean Keenan will be in right field. The catcher tonight is number 26, Dylan LaRue. This one's a line drive going into that right center gap. It'll take a couple bounces and then go into the glove of Keenan for a base hit.
And not a bad knock there. He really squared up on that pitch and just dropped it out into the gap in between right and center field. And good contact from him there as he's able to reach and get them a hit with just 1 out on the board. They've got some opportunity here to progress that base runner.
We're trying to use our outfield camera tonight as a replay camera, but we're having some issues with it right now. Trying to time up when it will play the replay, but we'll focus on the game for now. That brings up number 6, David Brab, the DH tonight. That pitch is left outside for ball 1. And here's the Larks infield tonight. It's Rainer Bean at third. Tanner Norman's at the opposite corner. And the middle infielders are Tabor Stokes and Cade Green. 1-0 count to David Brab. And the curveball finds the zone for strike 1.
Well, Simon Lunsford's release is so hard to read. Watch as he comes off of the rubber where his hand finishes and where the ball comes out of his hand. It's such a hard pitch to read as a batter.
Next pitch is on the way to Brab, and this one goes inside, rolls away from LaRue. They're not going to say that hit him, but that's going to give time for Dylan Volts to advance a second on a pass ball.
Can watch how snappy that release is. It's just, by the time it's out of his hand, you almost have no time to react to the pitch as it's coming across the plate. You saw him kind of jump out of the way at the very last second there in that right-handed batter's box.
Tied count to the freshman from Seward County Community College in Liberal. Lunsford's next pitch is going to target the outside part of the plate and get there for strike 2. Brab has a team-high 9 runs for the Angels, looking to get on base. Also trying to record his first hit since June 5th. And he swings and misses on the inside part of the plate, and there's the first strikeout of the night and number 13 on the year for Simon Lunsford.
That was a pretty pitch there for Simon Lunsford. Just located that inner half of the plate and just painted that inside edge of the strike zone. Great execution there from Simon Lunsford.
Batting in the 4th spot tonight is number 15, Tyler Genrich, the first baseman. This is one of the top players on this Angels team. Just wrapped up his sophomore year at UC Colorado Springs. He will start with a 1-0 count. He leads the Angels in 7 major batting categories. I wouldn't be surprised if the Larks try to back up their outfielders because this guy has more home runs than he has base hits. Lunsford looks back at second, delivers, and it's a swing and a miss there for strike 1. The thing that works to Lunsford's advantage is that he's in the same conference as Genrich. Both UC Colorado Springs and Colorado Mesa play in the RMAC. I'd have to look to see if these two faced off against each other at some point this season. Count now stands at 2-1. Two outs, and the runner at second is Dylan Volz. Lunsford focuses on the batter. It's a swing and a miss, and Jenrich is down with 2 strikes.
The break on Simon Lunsford's pitches is just unreal. The way that he's able to just control really wherever he wants that ball to go. He's one of the more elite pitchers in this Larks bullpen.
Just needs one more strike to retire the side. Jenrich trying to bring that runner in scoring position home. This one's fouled out of play into the parking lot of doom. And Jenrich will now await the 6th pitch of the at-bat. And looking at the 10 games for Simon Lunsford that he pitched this year for Colorado Mesa, neither of those were against UC Colorado Springs. So while they had that connection in the same conference, he did not face off against the Mountain Lions. Line drive going towards the Angels bullpen will keep Jenrich alive. After Jenrich, it's number 20, William Harbison, and then number 17, Cliff Goldie. LaRue puts his glove on the outside. The pitch is on the way, and it's a swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts in the top of the first inning for Simon Lunsford to retire the side with 1 runner on base. Braden Hebner will lead things off for the Larks when we come back. Simon Lunsford adds 2 more strikeouts to his season total, and the Larks keep the game 0-0 as we start the bottom of the first inning with Braden Hebner leading things off. The pitcher he's facing tonight is another player for the Angels from UC Colorado Springs and a native of Parker, James Harbison. In his second start of the year, his first one, he pitched 5 innings and recorded the win. He puts the first ball on the inside part of the plate, starting the count off 1-0. The Larks batting order will feature Max Flowers after Hebner, then Rainer Bean bats third. Moving up to number 4 in the order is Dylan LaRue. At 5th is Sean Keenan. Trent Baker will bat 6th in the DH spot as this one's fouled off for the first strike. And the last 3 batters in the order are number 34, Tanner Norman, number 6, Taper Stokes, and number 12, Cade Green. James Harbison, the pitcher tonight, listed as an outfielder on the UC Colorado Springs roster, but in his 2 seasons that he was there, he did pitch in 22 games, compiling a 6-1 record, and now he's ahead against Hebner 1-2. Next pitch goes to the plate. Hebner had to move his legs out of the way to avoid getting hit, and the count is back even 2-2.
A lot of times when a pitch goes really inside on a batter like that, it really straightens up the batter in the box and sometimes can really play to a pitcher's benefit as they can work on that outer half of the plate.
Harbison kicks and deals. This one's going to be chopped and almost fielded barehandedly by the Larks' first base coach. That's Brady Kreitzer. Count remains with 2 balls and 2 strikes. The catcher centers his glove. This one's fouled straight back into the net. 2 foul balls in a row now for Hebner after being faced with that 2-2 count.
Yeah, I'd like to think Hebner probably wishes he had that pitch back, as he probably could have let that one go for a ball. That one was really inside on his hands, and he's lucky he didn't make good contact with that pitch. Otherwise, that would have been a fly out.
The ball rolled right past home plate, or very close, that is. And it's another foul ball for Hebner. 3 straight foul balls now for the Ball State Cardinal. Here is the defensive alignment tonight for the Angels. In left field is number 9, Matthew Shipley. The center fielder is number 30, Kyle Hubert. And in right field is number 17, Cliff Goldie. Catcher is number 20, William Harbison, who is actually, I believe, the brother of tonight's pitcher, James Harbison. And the rest of the infield features number 2, Tyler Tiedemann at third base, number 15, Tyler Jenrich at first, and on the middle part of the infield is number 12, Peyton Mitchlig, and number 5, Dylan Volz. Another foul ball there for Braden Hebner, and he stays alive.
Well, he's not going down without a fight, that's for sure. He's really battling up there at the plate.
This will be the 9th pitch of the current at-bat. And this one is fouled once again. There is the 5th foul ball in a row for Braden Hebner.
Well, he's making him work for it, and this is where batters can really start to wear down a pitcher. If they can increase that pitch count on James Harbison, it'll really limit how far into this contest that he can pitch.
Harbison looking to win the battle, and this one takes a bounce on home plate. And Hebner has fought up to a full count.
Try to get Hebner to chase on that pitch. Good discipline there from Hebner to lay off on that one. That was a really enticing pitch as it broke pretty late and pretty much right in front of the plate.
Harbison delivers the payoff pitch, and this one is outside, and Hebner heads down to first base. It took 11 pitches, but he gets to first in the end.
What a battle for Hebner. Man, talk about grinding it out at the plate. He earned that bag, let me tell you. And I'm sure head coach Frank Leo is very happy with that at-bat.
Hebner is a new face in the Larks lineup tonight, and so is Max Flowers as he steps up to the plate. He will be followed by Rainer Bean and Dylan LaRue. Flowers, in his 26 plate appearances here early in the season, leads the Larks in on-base percentage at .808. Pitch is on the way, and it's low and outside. 1-0 the count to the center fielder.
And it's going to be tricky for this first section of the game for the Larks to be able to really grab any stolen bases here, just with Harbison being a lefty the way that he is. He's really taking a hard look over there to first base.
Harbison still going to that outside part of the plate. That one's a little too low, and Flowers gets ahead with 2 balls.
On this lefty-lefty matchup, Harbison really has that advantage as his release point is going to be a little bit different in the eyes of Max Flowers, so Harbison's got to take advantage of that here.
Harbison delivers the pitch, and this one takes a bounce for ball 3. Flowers is going to try to walk now for the 7th time this season, or potentially get his 14th hit. Short lead taken over at first base by Braden Hebner. The first baseman, Jenrich, will cover the bag. And this one's delivered right down the middle for strike 1.
That's one of those you just kind of have to lay off of on a 3-0 count. There's no sense at swinging at a pitch like that, especially when you have at least 2 more strikes before you're really starting to battle.
We'll see if Hebner decides to take off for second base. The pitch is on the way, and that one just missed upstairs, and that's back-to-back walks for the Larks.
Good discipline there from Flowers as well, not getting overzealous on that 3-1 pitch, and the Larks are going to take those bases every day of the week. You're never going to say no to a walk. It's a free base. You don't really have to earn it. I suppose in Hebner's case, he had to earn it a little bit more than Flowers did, but a good start here for the Larks offensively.
And the Angels already having a quick meeting on the mound. This one's just the players. It's the third baseman, Tiedemann, and the catcher, Harbison. As Rainer Bean steps back up to the plate. Reached in 4 of his 6 plate appearances 2 nights ago against the Newton Rebels, recording 2 walks and getting 2 singles. Harbison delivers the pitch. Bean shows bunt, and this one pops straight up into the air, going to the first base dugout, and this one lands in foul territory.
Well, the catcher, Harbison, was just really hauling to get over there, down over to that pretty much almost to the dugout. It was practically in the batter's circle over there, just to the left of that Gameday Angels dugout. And props to him for putting it in that extra gear. He almost got to it, just that ball didn't hold in the air as long as he was hoping to.
Harbison gets set. The pitch is on the way. Hebner takes off, and this one's a foul ball that will just barely go over the press box, and now the count is 0-2, and Bean has to start swinging.
This is the first time we've really seen Harbison ahead in a count now, and so we'll see how he approaches this at-bat here against Bean, with him being in the driver's seat of this at-bat.
He had 2 strikes on Braden Hebner, and then he fouled off 5 foul balls. We'll see what Rainer Bean does. Pitch goes to the plate. It's a curveball. It's high and outside for ball 1. Harbison delivers a fastball, and this one's fouled out of play into the parking lot. Bean stays alive. The count is 1-2. Bean's one of 5 returners in the lineup tonight from the Newton game, is one of 2 Larks players that has played in all 7 and now 8 games. And he leaves that one outside for ball 2.
He's trying to make it enticing enough, just enough for him to really try and reach out on a pitch like that. What you have to be careful as a pitcher is you don't want to let him extend his barrel too much, because sometimes that can result in a bloop single.
Harbison delivers, and that ball keeps getting fouled in pretty much the same spot every time as Bean fouls it off after he was down 0-2 early. The count remains 2-2.
Well, even the pitches that seem like they're not very enticing to hit, they must be at least enticing enough to hit, because this Lark squad is really trying to connect with these pitches. It's almost like their timing's just slightly off on these balls.
Harbison delivers pitch number 7, and this one's a swing and a miss on the high part of the plate. And there's the first out of the inning.
Well, I can imagine that was a confidence booster there for Harbison as he walked the first 2 batters and then really kept in the driver's seat against Bean. Now, I really am starting to wonder how long he's going to be able to stay in this contest. Just as many pitches as he's already thrown here in the first inning. Those first 2 at-bats being lengthy ones, and then, of course, the third at-bat as well being a pretty lengthy one.
Dylan LaRue moves up to number 4 in the order tonight, and will hit a line drive into left field. Shipley running after this one. This one's going to drop down. Getting the windmill at third is Hebner, and he's going to score the first run of the game. And also heading for home is Max Flowers. He slides in. He's safe as well. A 2-run RBI double for Dylan LaRue.
Well, an aggressive approach of the plate for Dylan LaRue. He saw the pitch he wanted. He didn't wait half a second for that pitch. He drilled that thing out into left field. Excellent base running for him to get all the way to second and driving in those ducks on the base paths. You can't ask for anything more if you're head coach Frank Leo.
Back-to-back games now for Dylan LaRue, where he records an RBI double, and that brings up number 7, Sean Keenan. And now the Larks are going to bring in a courtesy runner for Dylan LaRue. It's number 4, Carson Lyles, who was a pinch hitter last night in the 8th inning for Austin Crawford, and he recorded an RBI single. We'll see if Lyles can get home. He's been the reliable courtesy runner for the Larks this season. This will be officially listed as his 6th game appearing as a batter or on the base path. First pitch goes over to the shortstop. It's Mitchell who fields it, throws it down to first, and out at first is Sean Keenan. With 2 away, that brings up number 2, Trent Baker, with his, you could say now, signature walkout song, because he's been in Hayes for 4 years. Here Comes the Money.
Well, and he's every Larks fan's favorite player here this evening, as he is the 8th Street Liquor beverage batter. And so I think that's a good choice if you're a Larks fan. If that's a guy you want being the 8th Street Liquor Beverage batter, I would expect to see a lot of Larks fans up and down this evening.
Baker chops this one over the shortstop. Mitchell fields it again, launches it down to first. Can Baker beat the throw? He can. He gets the single on the infield. And we'll see if the Larks fans start to emerge from their seats. Took them a second, but now they're heading over to the Larks nest behind the third base dugout.
Well, and that's something that plays into Baker's advantage. Is his speed is really underestimated sometimes. He was able to hit a ground ball just slow enough down that third base line that he was able to beat the throw down the line. And excellent job. Even though he's a DH, he's really got some wheels on him.
They'll call time to let Trent Baker tie his shoe over at first base. And the next batter up, batting 7th, is number 34, Tanner Norman. The Western Kentucky commit will be followed by Tabor Stokes and Cade Green. Throw back to first base, not in time. Baker is safe. The runner at third is Carson Lyles, who's a courtesy runner for Dylan LaRue, who got that double and drove home Braden Hebner and Max Flowers to give the Larks this 2-0 lead. First pitch goes outside for ball 1 to Norman. Harbison looks over at Baker at first. The pitch goes to the plate, and it's a swing and a miss for strike 1.
Slider on the outer half of the plate, and excellent execution there from Harbison at the mound, really getting him to bite on that slider. It was a very convincing pitch at that.
Harbison's next pitch gets in the zone, and now Norman's down 1-2. Harbison recorded 6 strikeouts in his first appearance with the Angels, looking for his second of the night here against Norman. Harbison continuing to watch the runner at first. That's Trent Baker. This is a ball, and it's a throw down to second base, and Baker slides in safely as this one goes wide of second base, but able to make the catch is Mitchell.
Well, I would expect on a play like that, they were kind of anticipating a hit-and-run situation on a 1-2 count. They don't want to have the risk of getting thrown out at second base, and instead it'll just go down as a stolen base for Baker.
Harbison delivers the 2-2 and puts it on the outside part of the plate. Norman does not bite on it. It is the second full count of the inning.
Well, that was pretty much that first pitch of the at-bat was that pretty much that same pitch we just saw, except located a little bit more inside, and that was an excellent job there from Norman to lay off in that pitch. That was a very enticing one.
The payoff pitch gets sent to the plate, and it's a swing and a miss for the final out of the inning. But the Larks take the first lead as Braden Hebner and Max Flowers are both driven home on a 2 RBI double from Dylan LaRue. And when the top of the second inning comes back, William Harbison will lead things off for the Angels. The Larks score 2 runs on 2 hits and leave 2 runners stranded to take the first lead of tonight's game. And they will face the 5, 6, 7 batters for the Game Day Angels. It's William Harbison that leads things off, and he starts the inning down 0-1. Harbison, the sophomore from Western Nebraska Community College. A half-hearted swing there, got a piece of the bat, but it's going to be called foul as there's now 2 strikes to start the inning. Harbison is, like I mentioned, is a sophomore from Western Nebraska, is committed to play at UC Colorado Springs at the D2 level next season. Lunsford's next pitch is a breaking ball that gets in the zone for strike 3. The 3rd K in a row for the freshman from Colorado Mesa, gets the first out of the inning.
I mean, he's just pitching lights out up there on the hill. He had that rough start there where we thought he had a hit by pitch, was able to pull it back together, get him to hit into a ground ball. It was thrown out at first base, but just excellent performance so far from Lunsford. We know he has good stuff, and, man, it's on full display right now.
Next batter is number 17, Cliff Goldie. Starts with an 0-1 count. He's playing in right field tonight and is one of 2 players, that is, for the Angels that is in his 4th year with the team. Joined alongside by the pitcher tonight, number 25, James Harbison. This one's hit over to Cade Green, who's standing in the grass. He throws it over to Tanner Norman, and there is the second out.
That was an excellent adjustment there from Cade Green. He backed up on that ball as soon as it came off the bat, knowing it was going to come at him a little bit quicker than he was ready for, was able to give himself a little bit more time to readjust out there in the outfield, field it cleanly, and make the throw over to first.
Peyton Mitchell will now try to keep the inning alive. He is a freshman that plays at the Division III level for Wittenberg. First pitch is fouled off for strike 1. This is his 7th game with the Angels, has 3 hits on the year and a .440 on-base percentage. He hits this one. It's a hard ground ball over to Bean at third. He will throw it over to first base, and Tanner Norman's got another catch for the final out of the inning. 3 up, 3 down for the Larks as they still hold on to that 2-0 lead. We'll be back in a moment for the bottom of the second. James Harbison returns to the mound for the bottom of the second inning. Larks looking to continue their run with the bats as Tabor Stokes leads off the inning. Cade Green stands in the on-deck circle, and the leadoff batter from the first inning, Braden Hebner, is in the hole. Stokes starts with a 1-0 count from James Harbison, the senior from UC Colorado Springs. Next pitch is going to be a hard ground ball over to the second baseman, Volz. He makes the catch and throws it down to Jenrich for out number 1. Next batter for the Larks is number 12, Cade Green. Another player from the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference playing tonight for either team. Green is a freshman from Colorado Mesa and is originally from Choctaw, Oklahoma.
Really is interesting to see how many players are in the RMAC that play in this Rocky Mountain, baseball league throughout the kind of summer season, so to speak. It's really fun to just kind of see a lot of these guys that more than likely play against each other pretty frequently during the school year that gets a face-off here at a different in a different setting, so to speak.
The Larks were able to get quite a few players from the Mavericks for this summer. And for the Angels, just like every other team from the RMBL that's in Colorado, they rely on that regionality so they can get players from that conference to come play for them. And Green now faces a 1-2 count. Harbison has 2 strikeouts on the night. He kicks and deals, and he gets Green on the outside part of the plate with a swing and a miss for out number 2.
Well, something I've noticed about Harbison's pitching style is his velocity is really high. He has a really, really big arm for this Gameday Angels team, but I think what is very telling about his pitching style is he has to kind of settle into things first before he's really throwing on all cylinders. We saw in that first inning it was a little bit of a slow start for him, but then once he started to heat up, he was really able to find his groove.
Hebner swings and misses at the first pitch for strike 1. It'll be interesting to see how both the batter and the pitcher approach this one because Hebner walked on a full count with 11 pitches thrown before he eventually won the battle. Harbison continues to target that outside part of the plate, and that one gets there, and he's ahead 0-2.
He's able to just pinpoint that pitch, just painting the outer edge of that strike zone. Excellent pitch there from Harbison.
The Angels have a chance for a 3-up, 3-down inning, but Hebner hits this one deep into left field, and on the run making the catch is number 9 Matthew Shipley for the final out. Top of the third is coming up next as Simon Lunsford will go back to the mound to face 8-9-1 for the Gameday Angels. Two nothing in favor of the Larks, and as we start the top of the third inning, both teams went 3-up, 3-down in the second. Tyler Tiedemann is going to kick things off in this inning for the Angels. Simon Lunsford back to the mound with a hot start with 3 strikeouts, and he starts with an 0-1 count here in the inning.
Well, this one has been moving very quickly so far. I would say that, especially with the last 2 innings being 3-up, 3-down, it feels like this one's gone by in just a blur.
We've only played 34 minutes of tonight's game. This one's popped up, and this one's going to go out of play. LaRue will run after this one, and this one will fall into the stands and move the count to 2 strikes.
Well, I really like what I'm seeing from Simon Lunsford so far. He just looks so confident on the mound right now. I think that now that he has a few games under his belt as a Lark officially, it's really telling as to how confident he looks on the mound.
And another swing and a miss and another strikeout for Simon Lunsford. Going to the slider, he sends Tyler Tiedemann to the dugout for out number 1.
Like I was talking about, that confidence from Lunsford is just showing, and he has such good stuff, and we saw it last season in the NBC World Series where he made that appearance in that one contest, and it's translating now over to a start like this against a regular season opponent.
Next batter is number 30, Kyle Hubert, batting 9th. He showed bunt, pulled it back, but either way, it's strike 1. He is a freshman from Gateway Community College, meaning he is a college teammate for Larks players Hunter Cogill and Sammy Fredrich. Next pitch goes to the plate, and that one gets in the zone. 5 strikes to start the inning with no balls for Simon Lunsford. The Angels will be back to the top of their order after this at-bat. Lunsford kicks and deals the 0-2, and this one's a hard ground ball that Norman's able to field. He will do an underhand toss to Lunsford, but it's not in time, and that's an infield single that was just on the edge of the outfield for Kyle Hubert.
Well, and what allowed him to get on base there was the fact that ball was just chopped so high in the air. I mean, that thing took a bounce off the ground like the turf was a trampoline or something. It really just skied up above so deep that they really didn't have a choice but to back up on that ball, and there's not a whole lot you can really do on a play like that.
And Tanner Norman also had to recenter himself because he had to make the catch over his shoulder and then turn around and look at first, and by the time he made the throw, Hubert was already safe. So the Angels are back to the top of their order with Matthew Shipley starting the count with the ball. And Lunsford's next pitch is outside. And Shipley's now ahead with 2-0 in the count. Shipley got out in the first inning on a 4-3 play with a 2-2 count. He was actually hit to start the game, but he showed bunt, ran up in the zone, and they said that was a strike instead. And this one's going to be chopped in between Green and Norman for another base hit.
That's back-to-back chopped ground balls that normally would be outs, but because of the way they are hit, they just kind of do a weird movement, and it just makes it so difficult to feel the ball like that. And they've got runners on first and second. They might be able to start working their way back into this contest.
That's something that batters can take advantage of playing in the RMBL, because there's only 2 teams that play on a dirt field. If I'm remembering correctly, it's the Liberal BJs and the Boulder Collegians that play on a dirt field. Lunsford's first pitch to Dylan Volts is called strike 1.
Well, a dirt field certainly doesn't have the spring that a turf field does, like here at Larks Park.
The runner at second is Kyle Hubert. Matthew Shipley's at first. Lunsford takes a look back at second, then delivers. And this one goes straight up into the air. LaRue doesn't know where it's at, and he will run now to go get it. The runner at third thought about coming home, but Hubert will remain at third and 90 feet away from home plate.
Well, he certainly turned on the afterburners. He rounded third base like he wasn't going to stop, and I think the Larks kind of got away with one there as LaRue is lucky he was able to locate that ball. It just came off his chest protector so weird that he couldn't really locate it.
And that was happening in the last home game, too. We saw one ball bounce as high as the baseball's on top of the net behind home plate. Lunsford deals the 1-1. And this will go low and outside to tie the count up at 2-1.
This is really going to be a test here for Simon Lunsford. With runners on first and second and only one out, he's really got to have some good diction over the ball here.
Dylan Volts swings and misses at the next pitch, and that puts 2 strikes on the board for Simon Lunsford. Volts comes into tonight's game with a team-high .609 on-base percentage. He just wrapped up his junior year at the Division II level with Valdosta State. And he swings and misses at the next pitch, and there's another strikeout for Simon Lunsford for out number 2.
That was a crucial strikeout there for the Larks. Props to Simon Lunsford for having the composure to go ahead and throw him out there on that pitch. A nice pitch there, kind of down and in on the batter, made it really tricky to get a bat on it.
5 strikeouts tonight for Lunsford. That gives him now 17 as a Lark on this season, that is. When you add in what he did at the NBC World Series last year, he has 29 in just 4 games. A foul ball on the first pitch to David Brab. He was the first strikeout victim of the game against Simon Lunsford. He swung on a 2-2 count and is now trying to keep the inning alive.
Well, Lunsford is, I would say you could characterize him as a strikeout machine. That's really his main source of producing outs. Obviously, you have pitchers that are kind of ground ball pitchers that produce weak contact to get their outs, where Lunsford really is just relying on that velocity and those breaking balls to secure those strikeouts.
LaRue centers his glove. Lunsford delivers the pitch, and this one's another chopper that's fielded by Rainer Bean and makes a cross-field throw to Tanner Norman for the final out of the inning. The Angels put 2 runners in scoring position, but both are left stranded, and the Larks still lead 2-0. Max Flowers leads off the bottom of the third inning as the Larks still lead 2-0. Flowers will be followed by Rainer Bean and Dylan LaRue. Still facing the starter, James Harbison. And the inning begins with a 1-0 count.
Well, Harbison had a bit of a shaky start there in the first inning, but really pulled things back together with a 3-up, 3-down inning in the second. We'll see if he can build off that here.
It's very critical that he limits how many runs he gives up tonight, as the Angels are looking for back-to-back wins. They beat USA Prime Collegiate on June 11th, 13-3, and are looking to get their record above 500 as Flowers now faces a 1-2 count. And we talked about it in the pregame show. That was their biggest key, because they can score a lot of runs, but they also have a tendency to give up a lot of runs as well, because they've given up 10-plus runs twice, and when you add those two together, they gave up 35 runs in those two games. Next pitch to Flowers is outside for ball 2, evening up the count. So now Flowers has to fight with 2 strikes after facing a 3-1 count in the first inning where he walked and then eventually scored the Larks' second run. He chops this one over to the second baseman, Dylan Volz, and he will toss it over to first base for out number 1. After the 4-3 play, Rainer Bean comes up to bat. Was 2 for 4 2 nights ago against Newton with 2 walks, 2 singles, and a run scored. Harbison gets set to deliver the pitch. And that one's right down Broadway for strike 1. Next pitch high and outside for the first ball. We mentioned James Harbison's the starting pitcher, and I believe his brother is the catcher tonight, William Harbison, who is a commit to UC Colorado Springs, where James Harbison just played his senior year.
It's a neat connection and probably a full circle moment for these two, with just being able to essentially play catch with his brother is really just a neat connection that they have.
A high fly ball by Rainer Bean. Going after it is the shortstop Mitchlig, and he's still waiting for it. He makes the catch in the grass for out number 2.
Well, Rainer Bean made pretty decent contact with that ball, but the wind is really whipping out of left field. You can see the flagpole out there in left is really just sporadically blowing this direction. And when you hit the ball that high up, I mean, that thing was above the stadium lights here in Larks Park. And so I can only imagine the wind didn't do him any favors there as that ball reached as high as it did.
The wind tonight's blowing 11 miles per hour out of the southeast. And LaRue starts with an 0-1 count in his second appearance. He was responsible for those first 2 runs getting home with a double, and then Carson Lyles came in as a courtesy runner, and he made it to third, and that's where he would be left stranded. 1 ball and 1 strike to the catcher. Harbison looking for back-to-back 3-up, 3-down innings. This one's lined foul, hitting the top of the net. And there's now 2 strikes on the board.
Well, I've got to say, I really like Dylan LaRue's bat. The barrel of his bat is like a burnt, almost not quite burnt orange, but a muted orange, and it's a really neat color. It's very rare you see painted wooden bats like that.
Harbison goes to his curveball. That one's too high for ball 2. Harbison going for his 4th strikeout of the night. He delivers the pitch. And William has to come out of his stance to get that one as it's too high up in the zone. And it's another full count.
Yeah, James Harbison looked a little agitated at the location of that pitch. I don't think that's exactly what he was intending to do with that pitch there against LaRue.
The payoff pitch goes to the plate, and LaRue fouls this one into the parking lot of doom. And LaRue will now await the 7th pitch of the at-bat.
Well, Harbison's got just such good velocity on his pitches that it's so hard to really time up a pitch like that. A really good pitch from him.
And Harbison wins the battle in the end as LaRue takes a swing and misses for a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Angels. And the top of the 4th is up next, where the Angels will be at the middle part of their order.
Well, we welcome you back to Larks Park. I'm Eli Blankenship, joined alongside me, Hank Corsair. You're stuck with me for a few innings as Simon Lunsford stays on the mound for the Larks. He's had a pretty productive day so far on the hill, pitching 3 scoreless innings with 5 strikeouts, as a hit by pitch will result in a free base for Tyler Ginrich, the first baseman. So he reaches base for the first time this evening after striking out in his first plate appearance. Now to bring up number 20, the catcher for the Gameday Angels, William Harrobson. Struck out in his first at bat in the top of the second inning. Gameday Angels trailing the Larks 2-0. Lunsford looks home and deals the first pitch. That one is swung on and missed. He blew a fastball. The fastball passed him up and in the zone. Harrobson will start the count 0-1. The 0-1 pitch from Lunsford. An off-speed pitch comes across on the inner half part of the plate. Count moves to 0-2.
Harbison has not seen a ball tonight from Simon Lunsford. It's all been strikes, so now he knows where the zone and he now has to fight back.
The 0-2 curveball drops its way into the zone for strike 3. A strikeout for Simon Lunsford, and there's one down now in the top of the fourth inning. 2 strikeouts on the evening for William Harrobson, and I can imagine he'll want to improve on that in his next at-bat. That brings up the right fielder, Cliff Goldie. The left-handed hitter takes the first pitch down and away for ball 1. The Gameday Angels wearing their baby blue uniforms this evening. White numbers and white text across the chest saying Angels, as the 1-0 pitch comes in just about knee-high for strike 1 on the inner half of the plate.
The Angels' uniforms almost look like they could be Royals uniforms just because of that script font across the front of the chest.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I'm a little bit partial. I really like the color on their uniforms here this evening. The 1-1. That one's a little bit too low for the home plate umpire's liking, and the count moves to 2-1. Still a runner on first for the Angels. Lunsford looks back to first, pitching out of the stretch now, deals the 2-1. That one swung on and missed. A good pitch location there from Lunsford, and the count moves to 2-2. And considering it is a Tuesday night, it's a pretty good crowd here this evening in Larks Park, as there's really not an empty seat as I look down in front of me. The 2-2 is out and away, and props to Dylan LaRue as he had to really snag that ball. That would have been a free base for Tyler Ginrich, who's over on first base after being hit by pitch. So it's now a full count to Cliff Goldie, the right fielder. The payoff pitch. That one is drilled out to right field, and it's going to be foul. And, man, that ball had a chance. That thing was barreled by Goldie. It looked like maybe he was just a little bit ahead of that pitch and pulled it just foul. Count remains at 3-2. We'll see another payoff pitch.
He didn't get the right contact on it, but the wind did not do him any favors as well because it's coming out of left field tonight at over 11 miles per hour.
The 3-2. Swing and a miss. What a pitch from Simon Lunsford. That's a gutsy pitch location there from him as he put that one down and away over the outer half of the plate and is able to get him to bite on the swing.
He's been able to find the strike zone all night, and you have to wonder how the Angels are approaching this now because he's so crafty of where he can position the ball that they have to be very alert with it, and especially on the 3-2 count, Goldie had to take a swing if he thought it was close enough.
Lunsford's up to 7 strikeouts now on the evening already here in the fourth inning. As the first pitch to the shortstop, Michelig, is high and inside for ball 1. Still a runner on first for the Angels. Now 2 down here in the top of the fourth inning. The 1-0 pitch. That one inside on Michelig. 2 balls and no strikes. Lunsford chuck his head a little bit towards Dylan LaRue. I wonder if maybe he's struggling with some control here in this at-bat. The 2-0. That one also kind of got away from him as it misses low over the inner half of the plate as it bounced into the turf. Three balls and no strikes. Lunsford will have to battle back now. The pitch. That one's high and away. It'll be ball 4. And 4 straight balls will result in a walk, and now we'll see pitching coach Keith Harper head to the mound.
This one's just going to be a meeting because there's not anybody warming up in the bullpen. And Lunsford's kind of walking away from the mound, so I do wonder if something might have happened if he was just changing up the approach now that he's gone through the lineup once, especially against a guy like Mitchell who's already put the ball in play once. But this one's just going to be a meeting to make sure everybody's on the same page.
And I'd imagine Keith Harper just wants to make sure that Lunsford's okay as well, because it's kind of out of character for Simon Lunsford with the talent that he has. You obviously want to preserve one of the best arms in your bullpen. You don't want to lose him early in the season. So I can imagine additionally he's just kind of making sure everything's all fine and dandy there on the hill. So runners on first and second now for the Angels and 2 down. As Lunsford, the best thing he can do here is just brush off the 2 walks he's let up here in this inning. As other than that, he's really pitched a lights-out inning. That brings up the 8-hole hitter for the Gameday Angels, the third baseman, Tyler Tiedemann. Struck out in his first at-bat in the 3rd inning. The pitch is swung on and missed. He'll start the count 0-1. Lunsford looks home, comes set, looks back to second base. Now deals the 0-1. Curveball misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Larks wearing their all-white uniforms here this evening with their special edition red Hayes Larks throwback hats commemorating their 80th season in Hayes. As Lunsford's able to drop the 3rd pitch of the at-bat on the outside edge for strike 2. His 80th anniversary hats has that throwback logo, that HL interlocking on the middle of the cap. There's a swing and a miss for strike 3 and strikeout number 3 of the inning for Simon Lunsford. Lunsford walks 2 in the top of the 4th inning, but doesn't let up any runs. There's 2 left on base, and the Larks lead it 2-0. Well, back at Larks Park here in the bottom of the 4th inning, and the Larks will be back up to bat. Sean Keenan, the right fielder, will lead things off for the Larks as James Harrison remains on the mound after going 1-2-3 in the 2nd and 3rd innings. He has really found his groove on the hill. First pitch to Keenan's chopped to the shortstop. Mitchell, the throw across the diamond is a little high, but able to haul it in is Greenwich for the first out of the inning.
And Mitchell was ready for that one. That's 2 straight 6-3 plays for Sean Keenan, and he almost was able to beat the throw at first because of the slow bounces from the turf field.
And it seems like that's been in full effect here this evening. Those bounces on the turf are so unpredictable. Well, I guess they're a little bit more predictable than they would be on a dirt field, but they can be so high is more what I was trying to get at there, as that will bring up Trent Baker, the 8th Street Liquor Beverage batter this evening, as he swings and misses at the first pitch. No balls and 1 strike. And Trent Baker reached first base his last time up, got all the way to second on a stolen base, as he takes the pitch inside for strike 2. Now an 0-2 count to Baker. He hit a ground ball down the third baseline just slow enough that he was able to reach first in his last at bat, the 0-2. That one misses outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Baker steps back in, twirls his black bat through the zone. Now the 1-2. That one's grounded down the third base line, and it breaks through into the outfield. A base hit for Trent Baker. Great contact for Baker, as he was able to just slot that between the shortstop Mitchell and the third baseman Tiedemann.
Perfect placement, as both of them had to make diving plays to attempt to reach it. And 2 singles now for Trent Baker with just 1 out.
And a lot more happy Larks fans, as I'm seeing a lot more Larks fans emerging from their seats. Not as many as the first time, as I think that they were probably waiting for that first at-bat for the 8th Street Liquor Beverage batter, but still seeing a few get up out of their seats to go take advantage of that.
Hey, you never know what the future holds, so you got to take opportunities when they're given.
That'll bring up the lefty, Tanner Norman, the first baseman for the Larks. He struck out in his first at-bat in the first inning. Was the final out of that inning. He'll start the count 0-1. Harrison comes set. Stares down Baker at first base. Now deals the 0-1. Baker goes. The throw across the diamond is not in time. Baker will slide in safely, head first over at second base. And Baker is just so fast on his feet that it's almost impossible to throw him out over at second base, although William Harrison, you got to give him credit. He had a pretty good jump out of his stance. He just had a pretty high arcing throw that wasn't able to beat Baker.
Yeah, and that one was short as well, and Trent Baker's just so fast on the base path that there really wasn't a play to be made.
If you're going to try and throw out Trent Baker, your throw has to be virtually perfect. A 2-1 count now to Norman, the pitch. That one swung on and missed, as that one broke away from the plate over the outer half of the plate. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes to the first baseman Norman. Harrison comes set, looks back to second base. Now deals the 2-2. Swing and a miss, and that's the second strikeout of the afternoon for Tanner Norman. So that's 2 down now in the bottom of the 4th inning and a runner on second, and that brings up the shortstop, Tabor Stokes.
If my memory is not mistaken, I believe Harbison has gotten Norman both times on the outside part of the plate, swinging and missing.
It's really tricky as a left-handed batter to really read the pitches of a lefty pitcher, and especially on a slider like that, you just don't know it's going to break until really the last second. As the first pitch to Stokes misses outside for ball 1. So as I said, 2 down here with a runner on second. Tabor Stokes looking to increase the Larks' lead as they lead at 2-0. Harrison looks back to second, deals the 1-0. This one misses upstairs for ball 2. Stokes digs back in. Holds his black bat just behind his navy blue helmet. Harrison comes set, deals the 2-0. That one also misses upstairs. Just above letter high on the jersey of Tabor Stokes. 3 balls and no strikes. Harrison sets. kicks and deals. As that one drops its way into the zone for strike one. 3 balls and 1 strike to the shortstop, Tabor Stokes. Stokes grounded out to second base his last time up as he looks to improve on that here. The 3-1 is well outside. Stokes will throw his bat towards the dugout and trot his way down to first base. The Larks have got runners on first and second. That brings up the bottom of the order for the Larks. And the 9-hole hitter, Cade Green, wearing number 12 for the Larks and playing second base. Struck out in his first at-bat as the Harrison brothers will meet at the mound for just a moment. Getting some words of encouragement. And Cade Green steps in with runners on first and second and 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th. First pitch to Green is lined down the third base line. It comes off the mid of Tiedemann, and there'll be no play at first base. The bases are now juiced for the Larks. We were just asked by our scorekeeper here tonight if we're going to rule that as a hit or not. I think that's a hit. That ball was hit just so hard off his bat that I don't think that it would have taken a very extraordinary play over there on third base to be able to field that and then be able to make the throw over to first base. And so that'll go down as a hit for Cade Green. And now the Larks have runners on every bag. And we'll see a meeting on the mound with the starting pitcher, James Harrison. And I'll be curious to see how long they'll keep him in this contest after he had a very long first inning. His second and third innings were very efficient, but that first inning, man, he threw a lot of pitches in that first inning on the hill.
Yeah, he had a great start, but now he's starting to wind down a little bit, and they've already got quite a few pitchers warming up already. I think that they're just switching back and forth between 5 different guys in their bullpen, but for now they're going to keep Harbison in the game. And this is an Angels team that can learn from one of the best as pitchers. Their head coach is Mike Coons, who is a former minor league pitcher in the Astros system from 2007 to 2009.
Certainly a well-coached squad in good hands with their head coach Mike Coons. That brings up the top of the order for the Larks. Braden Hebner, the left fielder, had a really long at-bat his first time up and was able to reach on a base on balls, then he flew out to left field in his second at-bat. The 0-1. That one is grounded over to second base. It'll come off his mid. It'll go down as an E4. And that E4 will score a run for the Larks. They've got their lead up to 3.
That is what you can't have happen. The Larks take advantage of mistakes very quickly. So they're still trying to get that third out, but that error could cause more mistakes as the inning rolls on.
It'll still go down as an RBI for Braden Hebner. And that brings up the center fielder, Max Flowers, who also reached on a base on balls his first time up and then grounded out to second base in the third inning. First pitch to Flowers is down and away for ball 1. With the bases loaded and the top of the order due up here for the Larks, this is a very sticky situation now for the Angels. The 1-0. That one's right up the gut for a base hit. The Larks will score one more, and they're going to go for 2 more as the throw at home is not in time. It'll score 2, a 2 RBI single for Max Flowers.
And for Flowers, he just has so much discipline at the plate that he's able to read the pitcher really well and also read the field to figure out where he needs to put it.
The Larks have now scored 3 runs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And they've got runners on first and second and a 5-0 lead. That brings up the 3-hole hitter, Rainer Bean, the third baseman, 0 for 2 in tonight's contest. He'll look to improve on that here. as the first pitch to him is down and away for ball 1. Harrison deals the 1-0. That one is fouled out into the parking lot of Doom. Count moves the 1-1 to Rainer Bean. The 1-1. That one's drilled up the middle again. The Larks will have another base hit. They'll send the runner from second. The head first slide at the plate is not in. The throw's not in time. The ball gets away from the catcher, Harrison. And that'll go down as a RBI single for Rainer Bean. As there was certainly a fielding error at the plate there behind home plate that allowed that runner to cross home. And then also allowed the runners from first and second to advance.
Okay, I was about to say because the throw would not have been in time, but I didn't take the guys on the base path into the equation.
So now it looks like there'll be a pitching change on the mound for the Gameday Angels. We will step aside for just a second, and when we come back, it's a new pitcher on the mound for the Gameday Angels. The Larks lead at 6-0 here in the bottom of the 4th. Well, James Harribson's day will come to a close after pitching 4 2/3 innings on 5 strikeouts.
And he held up his own for a while, but we talked about it in the pregame show that even if the Larks batting doesn't get that hot start as the game goes on, they'll take opportunities, and next thing you know, it just snowballs.
Correction, that's 3 2/3 innings, not 4 2/3 innings is what I meant to say on that. I misspoke. As the Larks have now officially batted the order with Dylan LaRue up to the plate. And I think that pitch may have hit him. So now the Larks will have the bases loaded yet again. A hit by pitch for Dylan LaRue. That'll be the second time he has reached base this afternoon. It looks like they'll put in a courtesy runner for LaRue with 2 outs, of course, allowing him to get his catcher's gear on before the start of the top of the 5th. And that'll bring up the right fielder where we started things off of this inning, Sean Keenan. He's 0 for 2 on the evening with 2 ground balls to shortstop. See if he can pull it away from the shortstop this time. First pitch to Keenan. Comes across on the outer half of the plate for strike 1. Bases loaded here for the Larks. An 0-1 count to Keenan. The pitch. Missing outside, and I just dawned on me, I haven't even announced the new pitcher on the hill, Frederick Perry, the new arm on the rubber for the Angels. And things will look a little bit different for the Larks as now they're seeing pitches from a right-hander as opposed to a lefty. The 1-1. That one is popped up high into the air, out into right center or left center field, excuse me. And Hubert will come across, make the catch for out number 3. The Larks tack on 4 more runs. They lead it 6-0 going into the top of the 5th. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Larks Network. We welcome you back to Larks Park. It's the top of the 5th inning, and the Larks had a very productive bottom of the 4th. They tack on 4 more runs. They lead it 6-0 here in the top of the 5th. A pretty good performance so far we've seen from this Larks offense. We've seen it a few times this season where they struggle to get things going in the early parts of the game, and then all the runs will kind of snowball towards the end. But that has been the exact opposite for the Larks here in this one, as Simon Lunsford takes back to the hill for the Larks. He'll deal the first pitch to the leadoff batter and 9-hole hitter Kyle Hubert.
And I'm going to add in something that I just realized looking at my notes. Because the Larks have 6 runs in tonight's game, in their 8th game of the season, they've already passed the 100-run mark.
That is just incredible. This Larks team is such a high-caliber offense, and it's been on full display here in the few games we've had at home already, with the exception of the home opener, I guess I should say. It's an 0-2 count to start the at-bat for Kyle Hubert. He's center fielder. Reached on a single his first time up in the 3rd. The 0-2 from Lunsford. That one's drilled out into center field. Tracking it down is Flowers. He gets underneath it, makes the grab. There's one away. That brings up the top of the order for the Angels. That brings up Matthew Shipley, the left fielder. 0 for 2 on the evening. Or excuse me, 1 for 2 rather. Grounded out to second base his first time up and reached on a single his last time up. First pitch of the at-bat's a check swing. Still finds the zone for strike 1. Lunsford deals. That one's down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lunsford deals the 1-1. That one missing low over the outer half of the plate. 2 balls and 1 strike now. Oh, 3 balls and no strikes, rather. Thought that first pitch may have been called a strike, but evidently it did not. So the 3-0 missing down and away. That's ball 4. And a base on balls for Matthew Shipley. That brings up the 2-hole hitter, Wearing number 5 for the Gameday Angels, Dylan Voles, the second baseman. 1 for 2 on the evening with a single and a strikeout. The first pitch from Lunsford is fouled away. Way out of play. Start the count 0-1. Gameday Angels certainly have their work cut out for them as they trail by 6 here in the top of the 5th inning. Lunsford now pitching out of the stretch. Deals the 0-1. That one high and inside on Voles. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lunsford takes a look back to first base. Now comes set. Deals the 1-1. That one just misses over the outer half of the plate. It's low for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. Lunsford steps off the hill for just a moment to collect himself. Now comes set and prepares to deal the 2-1. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Good pitch location there from Lunsford. Was able to speed up the batter, get a swing off of him. Now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to the second baseman, Voles. The 2-2. That one down and inside on Voles. Count is now full between Lunsford and Voles. We'll see a payoff pitch here in just a moment. Lunsford comes set, holds his hand mid at his belt. The pitch. Got him over the outer half of the plate. Voles thought he had a walk, and Lunsford punches him out.
And when Lunsford got up to 2 strikes, you saw him start to target more towards outside the zone, where he went low for ball 3 and then put it kind of on the outside there, just barely getting it into the zone.
A backwards K for Simon Lunsford. He's up to 9 strikeouts now on the evening. A runner on first with 2 down here for the Angels. That brings up the designated hitter, David Brab Jr. Wearing number 6 for the Angels. He takes the first pitch high and inside for ball 1. The 1-0. Curveball drops into the zone for strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lunsford takes a deep breath. Now count set. The 1-1. Runner goes. Check swing is all the way through. The throw over to second base. Did he get him? He did. What a throw from Dylan LaRue and an incredible grab from Tabor Stokes on second base. The Larks put him out at second and get out of the top of the 5th with another goose egg on the scoreboard. Down to the bottom of the 5th we go when we come back. We welcome you back to Larks Park. Leading things off for the Larks here in the bottom of the 5th inning, Trent Baker, the 8th Street Liquor Beverage batter. So far, 2 for 2 on the evening. Already has 2 stolen bases here in this contest. First pitch to Baker, down and away from the new pitcher, Frederick Perry. Came in and was able to secure the final out of the inning in the bottom of the 4th, where the Larks went the order, as that one is popped up into shallow right field. Tracking it down, the first baseman makes the catch on the run over the shoulder. Good catch there from Ginrich.
That type of catch is never easy to make, so there's not really much you can add there. That was just an impressive play.
Yeah, an excellent play there from the first baseman, and I really don't think anybody else could have gotten to that ball as opposed to Ginrich, and just an excellent play. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. You said it best, and Trent Baker kind of got robbed there as he started the day out pretty good, and of his first time at the plate that he didn't generate some offense. As that brings up the first baseman, Tanner Norman, who's had a rough day at the plate. 2 strikeouts so far on 2 at-bats. He'll look to improve on that here. The 0-1 is upstairs for ball 1. I would imagine now for Norman, he's probably relieved to see a right-hander up on the mound as James Harribson's day came to an end after 3 2/3 innings pitched. A 2-1 count now to the first baseman, Tanner Norman. The 2-1's outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Norman looking to get on base for the first time this evening. The pitch from Perry. That one's upstairs for ball 4. It'll be a base on balls, and the first time this evening that Tanner Norman's reached base. And that'll bring up the shortstop and the 8-hole hitter, Tabor Stokes. 0 for 2 on the evening with a base on balls in the bottom of the 4th. Accounts for 1 of the Larks' 6 runs this evening. The first pitch to Stokes is over the outer half of the plate for strike 1. Stokes starts the count 0-1. Runner on first for the Larks, just 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The 0-1 missing down and away for ball 1. Count tied up at 1 apiece. The 1-1. And the throw back to first base gets away from the first baseman in Ginrich, and it looks like Tanner Norman will stay put, as he had not a huge lead off of first base, but big enough that the catcher Harribson thought that he could throw him out over there at first and took a gamble over there at first base, and he's lucky he didn't have a faster guy on the base paths, as that could have generated into an extra base. 2-1 count. That one high and inside on Stokes. Count moves to 3 balls and 1 strike. The 3-1. That one down and right over the middle of the plate for ball 4. Another base on balls for Tabor Stokes, and the Larks have base runners now on first and second. So back-to-back walks dealt by the pitcher Frederick Perry. William Harribson will go have a chat with him for just a moment. Make sure they're all on the same page, and that brings up the 9-hole hitter, Cade Green, the second baseman for the Larks. 1 for 2 on the evening, on a strikeout and a single in the contest. First pitch to Green, paints the inside part of the zone, and I don't think Green agreed with that one very much, nor did the Larks dugout. But nonetheless, the count will be 0-1 to start the at-bat for Cade Green.
The Larks do have some batters that play very closer to the plate, so that's probably the reason why they called that one a strike.
I think you're absolutely right there on that one. From our view, it obviously will look like a ball, but Cade Green is one of those guys that likes to have his toes pretty much on that white line, that back foot especially. A 1-1 count now to the second baseman, Green. That one's drilled up the middle. It'll be down into the outfield for a base hit. That one hops over to Hubert, who will throw it back into the infield. And the Larks have the bases loaded with only one out here in the bottom of the fifth inning. And that is the third time this evening, third or fourth time, I think, that we've seen the bases loaded here.
It's almost like the Larks are playing a very strategic style of batting, just getting guys on the base path, and then when the opportunity is there, they're going to get those big hits and drive them home.
And just like the last time we saw the bases loaded, it's back to the top of the order for the Larks. As Braden Hebner is up to the plate. As he pops up the first pitch, it'll go way out of play over the top of the Angels' dugout down the first base side. He starts the count 0-1. Hebner already in his fourth at-bat here this evening, just in the fifth inning. As he is had a pretty productive day at the plate with reaching base twice this evening and accounting for 2 of the 6 runs scored here tonight by the Larks. A swing and a miss at the 0-1 pitch will move the count to 0-2. Perry nods his head yes, deals the 0-2. The home plate umpire had to think about that one for just a minute, but evidently didn't like the pitch as the count will move to 1-2. That one really just kind of moved its way from the inner half of the plate over to that middle part of the plate. I just think it was a little bit too low for the home plate umpire's liking. Now the 1-2. Swung on and missed. A punch out for Frederick Perry. His first of the evening, and a very important one at that, is now the Larks have 2 down with the bases loaded instead of just 1.
And Frederick Perry's dealing with a tough situation with the bases loaded. He has 2 games under his belt coming into tonight with only 1 2/3 innings pitched with the Angels. And he's also a very dynamic player. He's listed as a utility player for Lincoln University in Pennsylvania, where he just played this last season. So he can play all over the field for this team, and he's done pretty decent so far on the mound.
That'll bring up the center fielder, Max Flowers. 1 for 3 in the outing, counting for 1 of the 6 runs this evening. Had a 2 RBI single his last time up in the bottom of the 4th. He starts the count 0-1. The pitch. That one misses just barely over the outer half of the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike now, the count to the center fielder, Flowers. Sun starting to set here in Hays, Kansas. The 1-1. That one's popped up into shallow center field, tracking it down. The outfielder, Hubert, makes the catch for out number 3. So what could have been a very big inning again for the Larks results in no runs and 3 runners left on base. The Larks still lead it 6-0. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Larks Network. We welcome you back to Larks Park. It's the top of the 6th inning here in Hays, Kansas, as the lights are starting to take full effect here this evening. The wind's starting to die down a little bit out of left field, and the sun almost behind the horizon. And summer is in full swing. Lunsford remains on the mound for the Larks. He has had a very efficient day on the hill so far. As our scorekeeper up here just got a shirt from an incredible throw down below by a Fort Hays State faculty member. That was very impressive there as he was able to just pinpoint it right through the window. That was pretty awesome.
I heard the crowd reaction, then I just look over and he's holding a shirt. I didn't even see the throw.
So the designated hitter is still up to the plate for the Angels, David Brab Jr. After that incredible throw from Dylan LaRue behind home plate over to second base. And Brab Jr. with a 0-2 count to start the at-bat. Lunsford deals the 0-2. That one is high and inside on the designated hitter. The ruling on the field is no swing, and Dylan LaRue pointed over to the first base umpire thinking he might have gone, but I don't think that bat broke the plane.
That was the right call. His arms were really tucked in, so I didn't see a possibility for that one getting across home plate.
1 ball and 2 strikes, the pitch. Swing and a miss. Another punch out for Simon Lunsford. Now pitched 5 1/3 scoreless innings so far here in this contest. And what a day on the mound it's been. He's now into double digits for strikeouts this evening.
It feels like just in these last few games, the Larks pitching as a whole is really starting to come alive. You know, in these last 3, they've gotten 41, and then you add in from Lunsford tonight, that is 51 in the last 4 games.
Lunsford has just shown an immense amount of confidence on the mound here this evening. The 0-1 to Ginrich is down and away for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike to the first baseman, Tyler Ginrich. He is 0 for 1 here this evening, as he was hit by pitch in his last at-bat. 2 balls and 1 strike to the first baseman, Ginrich, as that one is low and inside. Lunsford deals. The 2-1 is drilled out into center field. Tracking it down is Flowers. He makes the grab for out number 2. That'll bring up the catcher, number 20, William Harrison. He is 0 for 2 at the plate here this evening with 2 strikeouts. And normally you see 2 strikeouts and you're like, man, that's a rough day at the plate. But in reality, it's just been a really good day on the hill for Simon Lunsford.
Especially since both of them have been looking in. Against Harbison, he hasn't pitched a ball until just now.
One ball and no strikes to the catcher, Harbison, as that one comes right across the plate for strike 1. A breath from Lunsford, now the 1-1. That one is off the inner part of the bat, and tracking it back to make the catch is Cade Green for out number 3. Another 1-2-3 inning for Lunsford in the Larks defense. They still lead at 6-0 going into the bottom of the 6th. We welcome you back to Hayes, Kansas, as the Larks still lead it 6-0 here at Larks Park. Up to the plate for the Larks, Rainer Bean, the third baseman, starts the count 1-0. He is 1 for 3 here in tonight's contest. Had an RBI single his last time up in the 4th inning. The 2-0 is fouled away. Back into the neighborhood just behind Larks Park. Count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike to the third baseman, Bean. Perry pitching out of the stretch. Comes set, now deals the 2-1. That one over the outer half of the plate for strike 2. I think Bean was really expecting that to be a ball as he just kind of tilted his head up in the air and kind of walked away from the plate to make sure he didn't say anything too egregious to the home plate umpire. So now he waits the 2-2. That one misses just outside. Couldn't paint that outer half of the zone. Now the count moves to a full count and a 3-2. The payoff pitch is high and outside. Bean will have a trip down to first base. The Larks have got their first base runner here in the bottom of the 6th inning. That'll bring up the catcher, number 26, Dylan LaRue, batting in the 4-hole spot for the Larks. 1 for 2 here on the afternoon. Had a 2 RBI double his first time up in the 1st inning. Drove in the first 2 runs of the contest for the Larks. Runner goes from first. Green, a head first slide over at second, and he is there with plenty of time. And Bean, man, he really turned on the afterburners there on that one. He just, got really low to the ground. It just seemed like he was just almost on the turf when he was running.
The Larks have yet to be caught stealing tonight, and they just start sprinting along the base path, and you saw it there again.
1-0 pitch to LaRue is swung on and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. Correction. Reading the scoreboard out there in right field, it'll be 0-2 pitch now. Getting ready to be on the way to LaRue. That pitch high and away. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dylan LaRue. Runner on second for the Larks in Rainer Bean. So basically a runner in scoring position. Well, it is a runner in scoring position with nobody out here for the Larks. Perry comes set, deals the 2-1. That one misses down and away for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. LaRue, a switch hitter himself, now batting from that left side of the plate. He'll take the 2-2 into the turf. Now moving to a full count. Perry comes set. Now the payoff pitch. That one's popped up in the air, and it will go out of play. Just next to the Larks batting cages. We'll see another payoff pitch here in just a moment. LaRue holds that OSU orange bat just behind his helmet, as that is a hot shot down the first base line. I'm not exactly sure what that ricocheted off of, but it ricocheted off of something. It looked like the dugout there on down that first base line.
The top part of the dugout, just right below that roof, is where it got hit.
And that thing was a bullet And thank goodness that didn't hit anybody, as that would have really hurt. As now the ball boy will make a run over to the home plate umpire to give him some more balls, as he trots his way back over to the first base, or the third base dugout rather. The count remains at a full count here to Dylan LaRue to be the third payoff pitch of the at-bat. Perry deals. That one's chopped down the first base line, fielded by Voles. The throw over to first base is in time. It's a productive out for Dylan LaRue, as now the Larks have one down with a runner on third.
He put that one in a spot where the second baseman had to go on a very long run to go retrieve it. So it's a good play there to get the runner over to third.
Well, and honestly, I thought there was a chance that LaRue actually was going to be able to make it over to first base just because of how far the second baseman Voles had to track that ball down from. That'll bring up the right fielder, number 7, Sean Keenan. 0 for 3 at the plate here in this one. As that one is drilled into right field, makes the catch is Dylan Voles. Wow, what a catch from him. I thought for sure that was going to be down for a base hit out there in shallow right field, but Voles was able to elevate himself just enough to get a mid on it and make the catch for out number 2.
He had his eyes on the ball the entire time, and it felt like that one was traveling very slow through the air, so it gave him just enough time to track it down.
And I can imagine that Sean Keenan is probably fairly upset that that one didn't drop down for a base hit, with him now being 0 for 4 from the plate here in this contest. That'll bring up the 8th Street Liquor beverage batter, wearing number 2 for the Larks, Trent Baker, batting in that designated hitter position in this one, as the 1-0 is fouled out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike now to the DH, Trent Baker. Baker with 2 stolen bases here in this contest on 2 singles and a fly out. That was that fly out to the first baseman, Ginrich, who tracked down that incredible grab down that first base line over his shoulder. As that one's popped up yet again over to Ginrich. He's going to go all the way near the dugout. It goes off the side of the netting right next to the Gameday Angels dugout. And Trent Baker will live to fight another pitch, but just barely.
He definitely could have made that catch. You saw him. He would look at the ball and then look at the fence for that dugout to make sure he didn't collide with it, and he just couldn't make the catch at the very end.
I can imagine the goal there was to not run into the fence and also make the grab, but instead it was just not running into the fence and not making the grab. The 1-2 to Baker. As that one's popped up yet again down that first base line, and it just seems like he's just behind on his contact point against Perry. And obviously it's a righty-righty matchup here, so I can imagine it's not the easiest for Trent Baker to read off of this pitcher Perry as it was against Harbison. The 1-2. Right over the outer edge of the plate, strike 3. And out number 3 of the inning. The Larks lead it 6-0 going into the top of the 7th inning. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Larks Network.
Welcome back to Larks Park for the start of the top of the 7th inning. The Larks make it their first pitching change of the night, bringing in Braden Cox in relief for Simon Lunsford. So it's a CMU Maverick in for a CMU Maverick, as the first batter they're facing is Cliff Goldie. His first pitch is down low for ball 1. For Braden Cox, this is his 4th appearance as a pitcher this season. He's gone 6 2/3 innings, holds a 1-0 record, and has yet to give up a run, and also has 6 strikeouts with the Larks this season. Pitch is delivered, and it's inside, and it's going to find the zone for strike number 1. Larks have led from start to finish. They scored 2 runs in the first inning and then added 4 more in the 4th inning. And in that inning, they sent a total of 10 batters up to the plate. Next pitch from Cox is a swing and a miss to Goldie, and he's down 1-2. Looking at Simon Lunsford in the 6 innings that he pitched, he only gives up 3 hits, doesn't allow a run, and adds 10 more strikeouts to his season total, which in total that gives him 22 in 3 games, and in his Larks career, 34. Braden Cox looking to strike out his first batter. He delivers the pitch, and this one goes to the outside part of the plate, evening the count up at 2-2. After Cliff Goldie, it will be number 12 Peyton Mitchlig, and then number 2 Tyler Tiedemann. LaRue centers his glove. Cox sends the ball to the plate, and this one's fouled into the streets, keeping Goldie alive.
When Braden Cox is in a pretty much almost perfect situation as a reliever. You come in with a starting pitcher who has a very good quality start, 6 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts. I mean, what more can you ask for as a reliever now, as Braden Cox is pretty much in the driver's seat, even though he hasn't really had to do anything to get to that point.
Another foul ball keeps Goldie alive as this one went down the third base line. Count remains with 2 balls and 2 strikes. Goldie looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 2 with a ground out on a 4-3 play and a swinging strikeout on a full count in the 4th inning. Again, Simon Lunsford only gave up 3 hits, 1 in the first and 2 in the third. We have a total of 5 runners stranded in those 6 innings.
Needless to say, I'd say that's a pretty good day at on the hill for Simon Lunsford.
Here comes the 7th pitch, and this one's fouled, and a barehanded grab by one of the batters for the Angels who was sitting on one of their ball buckets. Not sure who that was, but that was a pretty impressive catch. So Braden Cox being tested by the right fielder. The pitch goes to the plate, and this one goes wide of Dylan LaRue, and it brings up a full count.
This is going to be a test here for Cox, really a test of his stuff, I think, on a full count, especially in an at-bat where you've gone a lot of pitches already. So I'll be interested to see what Cox elects to go with here, if he elects to just try and blow a fastball past him or if he tries to kind of deceive him here.
Payoff pitch goes to the plate. It's a swing and a miss, and the Larks get their 11th strikeout of the night to get the first out in the top of the 7th.
Great approach there from Cox. Was able to just blow that pitch past him on the inner half of the plate, and the confidence to throw a pitch like that on a full count is just excellent there from Braden Cox.
This starts the bottom third of the Angels' order. It's number 12, Peyton Mitchlig. We'll follow with Tyler Tiedemann and number 30, Kyle Hubert. Mitchlig is a freshman from Wittenberg University at the Division III level. Watches the first pitch go by for strike 1.
And we talked about how confident Simon Lunsford was in today's start, and I think that confidence is really translated across the entire bullpen. I think this entire bullpen, it's safe to say, has been very confident on the mound, really across all of their games they've played so far.
And this one hits the umpire near the throat as it was fouled off. So they'll give him a second to recover from that. Keith Harper coming out from the Larks dugout to make sure he's okay. And they'll take time for a second. And the Larks the Larks trainer is also coming out as well. but he's good to go.
That's a tough place to take a pitch, especially because it doesn't look like he has a neck guard on his face mask. I know some umpires will wear that neck guard that kind of hangs down off the chin of the face mask. He doesn't have one. And I can imagine that one didn't feel very good. At least it was, some of the velocity was taken off of it off the bat of Michelig. But still, I'm sure that one didn't feel good at all.
So we're back to the action with a 0-2 count to Michelig. Looking to get on base for the second time tonight. He's grounded out and also walked. Cox delivers the pitch, and this one's going to be chopped over to Green, who is standing in the outfield grass. He has to make the throw on the run, and this one is not in time. They're going to call him safe at first as the first runner of the inning and first runner since the 5th inning for the Angels.
And I think the approach for Green in tonight's contest has been, when it's a lefty, stand out in the outfield, give yourself a little bit more time to field the ball. Now, sometimes that can come back to bite you like it did right there, where the ball came out off the bat just slow enough that it was hard for him to get to the ball in time to make that throw over to first.
First pitch to Tiedemann is a foul ball. Just barely made contact with it. LaRue was wondering where it rolled off to. But it's an 0-1 count as the runner stays at first. And did the home plate umpire get hit again?
I think he did. I think he just took a stinger to the hand, and he's kind of pacing around the mound out there. Poor guy is going through it right now in this inning. He has just been really unlucky there behind the dish tonight. It's very rare it's really even rare you see a home plate umpire get hit, period. And it's usually, if they do get hit, it's off of a foul ball. That's very, very typical that you'll see it if you do see it at all. And most of the time you have, especially at this level, the pitchers have enough command over their pitches to where they're not going to hit an umpire. And same with the catchers. They're good enough to stop the ball to keep it from getting back to that umpire. But, man, tonight it's just been a tough break for the home plate umpire, Jeff Keith.
And he's already back behind home plate. I don't know what our umpires get paid, but for tonight's game, he might deserve a small raise.
That's no joke.
Pitch goes to the plate, and it's a slider that's in there for strike 2.
Some workers' comp or something.
Tiedemann's been struck out twice tonight, trying to avoid for that happening a third time. The sophomore from Las Vegas awaits the pitch. It's on the way, and this one's a line drive into the glove of Rainer Bean, who will throw it back to first base, but that was a very long throw as Michelig is back safely.
Well, that certainly was not a routine play for Rainer Bean by any means. That ball kind of hung in the air just long enough for Bean to be able to make that grab, but he had to really shift over quite a bit because the ball didn't really come down low enough for Bean to make a catch on it until it was almost all the way over to the bag off the third base line. So props to Bean for being able to track that one down.
Kyle Hubert will now try to keep the inning alive. The freshman from Woodlands, Texas, swings at the first pitch, and this one's a slow chopper that is fielded by Rainer Bean, and then it rolls away from him. Couldn't quite get his glove on it. I believe that one will be listed as a hit.
I think that would, yeah. It looks like the official mark out there on the scoreboard is a hit, and I would agree with that because for Bean, he had to run in so far on that ball that it was already a low chance he was even going to be able to make the throw over to first base in time anyways. So I don't think that you can discredit Bean's effort on that, or even the pitcher Cox for that matter on that play.
The Angels now go back to the top of their order for the 4th time tonight with number 9 Matthew Shipley. Reached base in his last 2 appearances, swings and misses at the first pitch, and the count begins 0-1. Shipley was the first batter out on a 4-3 play. In the 3rd inning, he got a single and then made it all the way to second, and he walked in his previous appearance back in the 5th inning. Cox looks back at second. The pitch is on the way, and this one's right down Broadway for strike number 2.
It's a good pitch there from Cox, and now he's ahead in the count 0-2. He's got all the momentum and really in the driver's seat of this count.
Just needs one more strike to end the inning. Shipley trying to avoid getting out for a second time. The pitch is on the way, and it's a swing and a miss, and that brings an end to the top of the 7th inning. The Angels got runners on second and first. Both of them had base hits, but they are left stranded, as that now brings the total in that category up to 7 on the evening. We'll be back in a moment for the bottom of the 7th, where the Larks will go to the bottom third of their order to try to extend this lead. The Larks are going in search of their second shutout of this young season. They just need to survive the next 3 innings, maybe even less if they can get their 5th run rule. But now we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, where Tanner Norman leads things off. A new pitcher into the game now for the Gameday Angels is number 8, Cole Fenton, the freshman from Mesa Community College, who will throw the first pitch, and it's a strike. Tanner Norman leads off the inning, followed by Tabor Stokes and Cade Green. These are the last 3 batters in the Larks order. They've gone through it 4 times. Next pitch is popped up and out of play. Norman now faces an 0-2 count. Norman reached base in his last appearance. Faced with a 3-1 count, he walked and then made it all the way to third. But he would be left stranded along with 2 other runners. Next pitch goes upstairs for the first ball. For Cole Fenton, this is his 3rd game with the Angels. This is his first time also getting some collegiate experience because he redshirted at Mesa Community College. Foul ball keeps Tanner Norman alive. The count's still 1-2. Catcher puts his glove low and outside, and it's a swing and a miss, and there is the first strikeout of the night for Cole Fenton, and his 5th of the year.
It's been a rough day at the plate for Tanner Norman. Hopefully he can build on that in tomorrow's game. Obviously not what he's looking for at 0 for 4 here on the evening with 3 strikeouts. It's out of character for him. He usually has a better bat, so hopefully he can turn things around tomorrow.
Tabor Stokes now steps up to the plate. He has walked in his last 2 appearances. This is his first time also getting some collegiate experience because he redshirted at Mesa Community College. Foul ball keeps Tanner Norman alive. The count's still 1-2. And he will start with an 0-1 count. A strong start for Cole Fenton. He's only pitched in 2 games, but has yet to give up a hit or a run. His next pitch is going to be popped up, and this one's going to go out of play. This one might hit the roof of the press box. It does not. I was listening very carefully to see if it got hit, but it does not.
Yeah, I think we definitely would have. I don't think it would have taken much to know that one hit the top of the press box. That one was coming down with quite a bit of speed on it, but I too was waiting. I was like, okay, how long do I have to wait to know if it's going to hit the top of the press box or not? But that one probably went just behind the press box into the concourse. So hopefully they didn't hit anybody. That would be a rude awakening there behind the press box.
Fenton looking for back-to-back strikeouts. It's an 0-2 count to Tabor Stokes, and he swings and misses on the outside. And just like Tanner Norman, he targets that outside for that 3rd strike.
That's always a kind of a go-to strikeout pitch for a lot of pitchers. It's that pitch down and away because it's far enough that it's going to be difficult for batters to get contact on it, but it's a breaking ball that kind of comes across the plate and breaks down so that a batter is at least enticed enough to try and make a swing at it.
Next pitch goes to Cade Green, and it starts with an 0-1 count. 9 pitches thrown so far for Cole Fenton, and only 1 of those have been a ball. He sends the next pitch to the plate, and it's a swing and a miss on the high part of the zone. Green is now down 0-2. The Angels trying to go 3 up, 3 down for the first time since the 3rd inning, and they do just that. It's a swing and a miss for 3 straight strikeouts for the new pitcher, Cole Fenton. Top of the 8th is up next. Larks are still ahead 6-0. Braden Cox returns to the mound for the top of the 8th inning, and the Larks are still ahead 6-0. Cox's first pitch just misses on the outside for ball 1. It's been a great night for the Larks. Everything is going their way. They've led from start to finish. They've still got a great showing. Cox's next pitch goes to the plate, half-hearted swing, and they will say he went around for strike 1. The next batter is number 5, Dylan Volts. He's followed by David Brab and Tyler Genrich. Bull's one of a few Division II players for this Angels team. Just wrapped up his junior year at Valdosta State. And the next pitch targets the outside part of the plate, and Braden Cox is ahead with 2 strikes. I was talking about it in the break that for our post-game interview, if Braden Cox has a strong 8th inning, we'll probably get the chance to interview him after tonight's game. The 2 players for the Larks that have had the best performance in terms of 1 batter and 1 pitcher are who we interviewed in the home opener, so can't do them again right away.
Yeah, and of course the obvious choice would be Simon Lunsford with 6 innings pitched, 6 scoreless innings, I guess I should say, only 3 hits and 10 strikeouts. But we just interviewed him, so it's like you can't go right back to Simon. So
2-2 the count from Cox, and that one was a check swing that didn't quite get there. LaRue thought it might have been a strike. First base umpire says it was not, so it's a full count.
I think that was the right call. I don't think his bat quite broke the plane there over the plate, and it would have been close. I obviously don't have the best angle on it from up here, but I think that was the right call in that situation.
Cox will step off the mound and go back to work looking for another strikeout. The Larks as a team already have 12 on the night, split between Cox and Lunsford, and here's the payoff pitch. It's a swing and they're going to say it's a drop third strike, and the throw down to first base is in time for that first out.
Well, I'll tell you, up here it looked like that it was a foul ball. It looked like a foul tip off the end of the barrel of the bat, but evidently, now obviously the home plate umpire's got a much better view on it than we do, so must not have made contact with it, and that'll be a strikeout for Braden Cox.
The DH, David Brab, makes his 4th appearance at the plate tonight. He is 0 for 3. He was a victim of 2 of Lunsford's strikeouts and also grounded out to Rainer Bean as the final out of that 3rd inning. Cox delivers the pitch, and it's a swing and a miss for strike 1. David Brab just finished his freshman year here in Kansas, down in Liberal, playing for Seward County Community College. Played in 53 games and recorded 46 hits for the Knights. I think that's Seward County's mascot, if I'm remembering it off the top of my head. Next pitch is going to be called ball 1.
Well, you know more than I, because I have no idea if that's their mascot. I actually didn't even know Seward was in Liberal, so you got one up on me there.
Yeah, that's where the Liberal BJs play their home games, and I know all the D1 mascots. I have to think a little bit for JUCO and Division II.
Yeah.
Next pitch goes down low for strike 2, getting that low part of the zone. And now Braden Cox has a chance for his 4th strikeout. And since we just talked about it a second ago, I think this would be enough to cement him into our post-game interviews.
I must say I'm much more familiar with the Division II level mascots, only because I cover Division II athletics.
Brab had to move out of the way for that one. The count moves to 2-2. The infield for the Larks playing a little bit closer to the grass. Cox looking for that last strike, and it just misses low for back-to-back full counts.
Wasn't a bad pitch there from Cox. That was a good strikeout pitch is usually what I would call that, or what I would characterize that as. He was trying to get Brab Jr. to bite on that pitch down and away, and just couldn't quite get him to buy it.
Braden Cox gets set, delivers the payoff pitch, and that one breaks into the zone for strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts. That's now 3 in a row going back to the 7th inning, and there's now 2 away.
And Braden Cox is also looking really good on the hill here this evening, and it's just been a masterclass from this Larks bullpen here so far in this one.
Tyler Genrich, the 4th batter in the order, now steps up to the plate. 0 for 2 tonight, and this was one of the players that the Larks have really had to watch out for because he's proved himself through these first 6 games for the Angels with a .346 average. That's a team high. Swinging and missing, he's down with 1 strike. And he just finished his sophomore year at UC Colorado Springs where he was one of their top players with a .386 average, 78 hits, and 71 RBIs. And he could potentially transfer to the Division I level because he's currently in the portal.
I mean, that's just unreal in terms of batting average. I mean, that's unheard of. I mean, truly unheard of. That is elite. That's an elite hitter right there up at the plate. And the fact that the Larks have held him 0 for 2 on the day with a hit by pitch, I mean, that's a pretty – I'd say that's a success for the Larks bullpen.
0-2 the count. Cox looking for his 4th strikeout in a row to Tyler Jenrich. And this one's popped out of play going into the parking lot of doom. Jenrich keeps the inning alive.
I don't want to jinx it, but I will say so far we have had very beautiful evenings for baseball here in Hays, Kansas for every single one of the home games that we've had so far, and I've been very appreciative of that. Although I don't really feel it much up here in the booth, it seems like it's been very nice.
Another foul ball there for Tyler Jenrich as he stays alive. Was down 0-2 and has now fouled off the last 2 balls. He steps back into the right-handed box, trying to win this battle. LaRue puts his glove on the outside. The pitch goes to the plate, and it's a swing and a miss for out number 3. 6 strikeouts on the night for Braden Cox. And the Larks still hold on to that 6-0 lead. We'll be back in a moment for the last few innings. The Larks are 6 outs away from getting their first 8-0 start in 12 years. As Cole Fenton is back to the mound to face Braden Hebner, and this one's a line drive that will just go foul down the third base line and start the inning with an 0-1 count. Braden Hebner is the 4th batter that the new pitcher Cole Fenton is facing. Got 3 straight strikeouts in the prior inning against the lower third of the Larks order. But now needs some help from the bats if the Angels are going to mount a comeback. This next pitch is on the way, and this one's going to be chopped foul in a similar spot. 2 strikes now to the Ball State Cardinal, Braden Hebner.
Well, Jackson Ramos made an attempt to barehand that one down at the very end of the dugout. Didn't quite get his hands on it. He had to go collect it there down in foul territory, down the third base line.
There's the first ball of the inning to Braden Hebner. It's left outside. He'll be followed by Max Flowers and Rainer Bean. Fenton puts that one on the outside. Count is now 2-2 after he started the count with 2 strikes. Hebner's another player that we're considering interviewing in the postgame show. He swings and misses at that one. And there's the first out of the inning.
Well, despite having 2 strikeouts in his last 2 at-bats, he still had a pretty productive day at the plate, scoring 2 of the Larks' 6 runs here in this contest.
I'm also considering Max Flowers and Dylan LaRue. So Max Flowers is up now. We'll see what he does right here. He has gotten 2 RBIs and also has a run of his own. So he's played a role in half of the Larks' runs tonight. So we'll just have to wait and see what he does right here.
Still up for grabs, boys. Who wants it?
Impress us. First pitch is strike 1. Flowers scored his first run after walking on a 3-1 count. He had a single that brought home 2 runs back in the 4th inning. He now faces a count that has 1 ball and 1 strike. Another pitch goes inside there for Cole Fenton. Ties the count up with 2 balls and 1 strike to Max Flowers. Fenton has struck out 4 straight batters, but now has to battle back with a 3-1 count against Max Flowers.
I'm not exactly sure what the exchange was behind home plate, but the home plate umpire and Max Flowers, he was shaking his head at something, and Max Flowers is kind of smiling back at him, so I don't know what the exchange was there.
Fenton stays alive as this one gets into the strike zone and leads to a full count. Flowers has reached base twice and also gotten out twice. Fenton delivers the payoff pitch, and it's a swing and a miss. It's a drop third strike, but the throw is in time over at first.
Well, I must say, Fenton's done a nice job on the hill so far. 3 strikeouts in the 8th, and now 2 here in the 9th. Correction, 3 strikeouts in the 7th, 2 here in the 8th. I'm looking at my score columns of my score sheet, and of course, the Larks batted the order in the 6th inning, so I had to move over a scoring column, and I've got all my numbers mixed up now in my head. I keep having in my brain that it's the 9th inning, but it's not. I don't know why it would be the 9th inning with us on top.
A line drive here for Rainer Bean. This one's going to drop down and go all the way to the corner. He makes his way to second as his helmet flies off. And now he's going to try to make his way to third. And actually, I think the ball went over the fence. The right fielder, Goldie, is holding his arms straight up. So it's a double for Rainer Bean as he's on base for the 3rd time tonight.
I think they're going to have to send him back to second, maybe?
That is a ground rule double.
Huh. I've never seen a ground rule double do that before, where it bounces in play in fair territory, but then bounced, actually, instead of bouncing over the big wall out in right field, it bounced over the wall that separates the bullpen from the field. I've never, ever in my life seen a ground rule double do that before.
That is definitely a new one. So Dylan LaRue, who already has 2 RBIs tonight, will work with a runner in scoring position, and he pops this one up in the infield. Tiedemann will run after it, and now calling for it is Mitchell on the run. He's got the catch for the 3rd out. So the Larks still lead at 6-0 and are now 3 outs away from a victory. We'll be back in a moment. The Larks are 3 outs away from getting their second shutout win and 8th win overall on the year. They just need Braden Cox to get the final 3 outs. He's responsible for 5 of the 15 strikeouts in tonight's game. He will be interviewed tonight along with Max Flowers. He was responsible for, or played a part in 3 of the Larks' 6 runs tonight. He scored 1 of his own and had 2 RBIs. As this one's a line drive and a diving play by Tanner Norman, who will go with an underhand toss to Braden Cox for out number 1. A big play there. It was a hard hit from William Harbison, but Tanner Norman able to stretch all the way out there and get the grab for that first out.
That was certainly not a routine play over there at second base. An excellent job there from the Larks defense.
Next batter up is number 17, Cliff Goldie. Trying to avoid going 0 for 4 along with William Harbison. Both of those guys have started out with 2 strikeouts and then had a ball that went in play over to Cade Green at second. Count will start off 0-1 as Goldie fouls off the pitch. Peyton Mitchell is on deck. Tyler Tiedemann will be in the hole if it gets to that point. Next pitch is down the middle, and Braden Cox is ahead 0-2, looking for his 6th strikeout. LaRue puts his glove on the outside part of the plate. The pitch is on the way, and Goldie will leave that one out there for ball 1. Goldie, a junior from the University of Marion, is originally from Aurora, Colorado. He will swing and miss at that one, and there's another strikeout for Braden Cox, putting 2 outs on the board here in the final inning.
And that was just a beautiful pitch there from Braden Cox, and he is just rolling on the mound right now. He's up to 6 strikeouts on the night, and he is just looking in really good form out there.
We'll see if the shortstop, Peyton Mitchell, can keep the game alive. He started 0 for 1 and has reached base in his last 2 appearances. Another Aurora, Colorado native awaits the pitch. And this one will catch the outside part of the zone to begin the count 0-1. Cox will come set. And another swing and a miss, and there's 2 strikes on the board. He just needs 1 more to retire the side. Cox gets set. The pitch is on the way, and it's outside. Again, he tries going out there, trying to basically bait the Angels into reaching for it, but he was unable to do so there.
It's that strikeout pitch, and we've seen it all night long from every pitcher in this contest.
The Larks fans will clap along to help him out as he looks for that last strike, and there's the swing and the miss, and the Larks get the shutout victory.
Great overall team performance for this Larks team here tonight, and what a job from the Larks pitching staff. 9 scoreless innings, 6 of those credited to Simon Lunsford, 3 of those go to Braden Cox, and what a great contest for this Larks bullpen. And then, of course, you can't discredit the performances of this Larks offense, too. They've just looked in great form as well. So, I mean, just a great all-around team performance from this Larks squad against a pretty talented Gameday Angels team, holding them to nothing, and a great all-around performance. I'm going to step aside for just a moment, and then in about a couple minutes, we'll have our on-field post-game interview with our very own Hank Corsair.
It's time now for tonight's post-game player interview with Hank Corsair, sponsored by Lewis Automotive right here in Hayes. Take it away, Hank.
Thank you, Seth. I'm here first with Braden Cox, who contributed for 7 of the 17 strikeouts tonight. What did you guys notice from the Angels batters?
So we were getting ahead with the slider and then beating them with the fastball. We'd get down with 2 strikes and then dial in.
And how would you say Lunsford helped you tonight as he pitched for the first 6 innings, and would you say it was a little bit of Colorado Mesa team chemistry?
Yeah, no, I love pitching behind Lunsford. He sets me up well and has him beat, so I come in here and finish the job.
And what would you say has helped the pitching as a whole? Because in these last 4 games, you guys have 58 strikeouts as a team.
We pound the zone, get ahead, and then get the job done. Gritty zeros.
Congrats on the big win tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Braden Cox. I'm now here with Max Flowers, who had a run tonight as well as 2 RBIs. How were you able to do that?
You know, just sticking to my approach every game, think a middle fastball, and go crush it when I get it.
You came into tonight's game as the team leader in on-base percentage, so what would you say in the early part of the season has allowed you to be so confident at the plate?
Man, just being gritty, self-confidence, you know. The mental approach of the game is so huge. Having a plan when you go up to the plate, it's really been big for me.
And you are one of 5 Larks players that is from here in Kansas, so what does it feel like to represent your home state?
Man, it's everything to me. You know, when I got the call to come here, I was like, heck yeah, I'm all in on it. So I'm happy to support Hayes.
Well, congrats on the great performance. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Max Flowers.
Well, we appreciate Hank for his post-game interview on the field with our players of the game tonight, and Braden Cox, and, of course, Max Flowers. We'll be back here in just a moment with our post-game show. Then we'll have our sign-off for the night, and we'll be back tomorrow night. Don't go anywhere. Our post-game show is just right around the corner.
The Larks lead from start to finish and defeat the Gameday Angels tonight by a final score of 6-0. Welcome into the postgame show, everybody. My name is Hank Corsair, joined alongside by Eli Blankenship. And it was another case of the Larks getting that early lead and then relying on the pitching to take things in control in the top half of each inning. And they just never looked back again, and they get their second shutout win of the year.
Well, it was just a masterclass from all sides of this Larks team. I was really impressed, especially with the pitching, and I think that was the most apparent part of this performance from this Larks team. And what a great job from Simon Lunsford and Braden Cox, the Colorado Mesa kids, getting it done on the hill tonight.
I don't know if it went through the mic when I was out there on the field, but as soon as I said that Simon Lunsford was in the back of the group, and you could just hear him go, "Woo!"
I heard it. I heard it over my headset, so it had to have gone over the stream. And I could see Simon Lunsford in the background lifting his arms into the air. He was happy you gave a shout-out to Colorado Mesa.
Yeah, it was a great performance for those two. You have Simon Lunsford, who was an NBC All-American with the Larks last year, and Braden Cox, who has really stepped into a big role. He was primarily a batter for the Colorado Mesa Mavericks, and he did not pitch at all this last year, so he's really made a name for himself. And looking now at the Gameday Angels, for them, they fall below 500. They're 3-4 overall and 3-3 in RMBL play. They had their moments. They were able to slow down the Larks, but the bats just never woke up in the game, and it cost them.
Yeah, it did, and I think for this Larks team, it really came down to having that consistency out there on the field, whether that was on the hill or defensively. It just seemed like the consistency was there. And even though the Larks didn't score after the fourth inning, it didn't really matter because they got that lead early in the contest so that all they had to do was just rely on their defense to take care of business.
And looking ahead at the rest of the series, they'll play an RMBL game tomorrow and then a non-league game to close things out before they play another non-league game against the Newton Rebels. The RMBL games are the ones that you really need to win. So what do you think the Larks need to do to make sure that they have the same success tomorrow? Because it's very difficult to beat teams like this in the RMBL back-to-back, especially with the Angels. It feels like every year they have that one game against the Larks where they come out and pull off the shocker.
Yeah, well, as someone who's wearing my RMBL 2025 champion shirt tonight, I would agree in the sense that those games matter a lot more than the games that are those non-conference games. I think for this Larks team, they're off to a really hot start, 8-0 on the year already. I think the key for them going forward in these conference matchups is keep the foot on the gas pedal. Don't let up on any of these at-bats. Don't let it up in any of these, any of these appearances on the mound. And just keep rolling, keep doing what they're doing, because if they stay consistent and play the ball they've been playing all season long, I don't see how they can lose a game.
Well, that's going to wrap things for us on the wrap things up for us here on the post-game show as the Larks win it by a final score of 6-0 to get their first 8-0 start since 2014. And they will be back here at Larks Park tomorrow for the second of the three-game series against the Gameday Angels. So from Eli Blankenship, my name is Hank Corsair. Thank you all for tuning in, and good night.